What's up, everybody? How you doing? How you living? Austin Cunningham and Justin Trees coming to you today with another episode of Talking Football. We are back on our Fuck, Marry, Kill Carole Baskin type train today, but today is going to be with the NFC East. We did the NFC South last episode. Now we're heading east, where the Cowboys, Redskins, Eagles, and then the Washington Redskins. We all know they're there. Let's see where we go and how we rank these for the draft this year. This season, this offseason, we're finally getting underway. But before we get into all that, Trees, we're going to usually hop into Treesivia here, but there's been a lot of news going around the NFL, a player from your team and a player from my team, and I would honestly rather cover that from the start than kind of hop into a Treesivia aspect. Let's start bad. We'll get into the good. You know what I mean? Let's just roll.
Yep. I love it. All right. So let's start out with Telvin Smith. So he got arrested today for having sexual altercations, whatever you want to call it, with a minor. And obviously not good at all. He's been going through troubles ever since he randomly stepped away from the Jaguars. This happened back in September and October. I guess it happened 2 times with a 17-year-old. One time at his house and one time in a car is what the report is saying. There's not, I mean, I'm trying not to say too much because, like, it all happened today and everything. You want to kind of know the whole story, but, like,
yeah,
it's with the minor. So it's horrible. Guy deserves to go away. Like, I don't care that it's 17. Like, you're in your mid-20s at this point. So it's time. Like, he needs to get his shit together. Like, clearly something happened. Like, you wonder, like, are they going to try to pull this, CTE stuff? Like, I don't know, right? Like, it's hard to really say at this point. So you don't want to say too much because, we learned this from the Tyreek Hill stuff, right? Like, it's sometimes better just to wait and just see what happens. But, I mean, they had SWAT there, heavily armed. Like, it was a big deal. It was not like this just pick up, send the city police, and, like, just a one cop car takes care of it. Like, they were expecting something bigger. Obviously, you don't take SWAT there if you're not thinking something can happen. So you hope that he gets his shit together. But at the same time, like, if he did it and stuff, like, he should pay his dues.
Yeah. I think you're in that situation, better, especially with the age difference, your title, who you are, the things that you've already been dealing with in your own personal life. Why try and make it even worse after already taking a year off the NFL? I really appreciate what you said there on how, like, we learned our lesson last year. I feel like all sports media did on let's wait and hear this out on what the true story is. And that's a perfect example of Bashaud Breeland here. You read the report and it comes out as he's in a gas station. Someone throws, I don't even know how you want to phrase it. It throws some weed back into the car once the cops roll up. They tried to arrest him. He resisted arrest. He gets in the driver's seat, tries to leave. They pull out a taser. They didn't pull out a gun. And then from there, it's trying to get him detained. So there's a huge report of him just resisting arrest. Then reports are coming out of, hey, the cops just overwent it. You know what I mean? They just rolled up and demanded everything from him, and he just didn't react well. Whatever the true story is on this, it's a bad look. Like, it's a bad spot to be in. You just won a Super Bowl. You just signed another 1-year deal, and now you're getting caught with possession of weed. No matter what the amount is, I know it's 2020, but the NFL, like, hey, you still got a policy. You still got a vision of yourself that represents the NFL as well. And you made that look bad. You made the NFL look bad. You made the Chiefs look bad. An inevitable suspension is going to be coming out of this. So let's hope they get that figured out and he learns from this and they can grow from it. But I'm glad that we got these topics out of the way. We don't need to spend too much time on it. Let's just kind of roll with it here. Now let's get into Treesivia. We got the ugly information out of the way. Now let's get into the good.
All right, cool. So I'm going to name off some teams here, some college teams, and I want you to try to guess how many 5-star and 4-star recruits they had on their team. So I saw this actually on Twitter today. So I did not come up with this. I did not find this data. This is strictly stolen from Twitter, but I thought it was very, very interesting. So,
Okay.
LSU. Let's start off with them. How many players do you think got drafted this year from LSU?
From LSU, it was like 13 or 14.
14, correct.
Okay.
How many 5-star recruits do you think they have
Like 2.
on their
5-star.
on their
LSU
roster? Yes.
their entire that got drafted or just their entire roster?
Their entire roster.
Okay, so 2 is a super low number. Let's say like their entire roster, freshman to senior, 5-star recruits. Let's say 20, 25.
Way too high, actually.
Wow. Okay.
You were actually closer with 2, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like 4?
7.
Wow. They only had 7 5-stars?
Yeah. How many 4-stars did they have, though?
Okay, let's go 2025.
Way too low.
30, 35,
Too low.
55.
44.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, let's go to Ohio State. How many players do you think got drafted?
Ohio State, say 9 or 10.
10.
I don't think they had as many. Okay. Yeah.
10. How many 5-star recruits do they have on their roster last year?
4.
Higher.
7.
Higher.
10.
13.
God dang it.
How many 4-star recruits do you think they had?
4-star, they probably had 40, 45.
47.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're in similar range.
Yep, similar range. Let's go Alabama.
How many they have drafted?
Yep.
I'm trying to think how many came out. So at least 2. They probably had 13 to 15 as well.
They had 9 drafted.
9? Okay.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember how many per school came out. Yeah, because they had some guys go back. So yeah.
Yeah. So how many 5-star recruits do you think Alabama had?
Let's say 11.
That's exactly how many they had.
Look at
11.
that.
Okay. How many 4-stars do you think they had?
Shit. 50, like 50 plus.
58.
Yeah, they're just, hey, you want to come to Alabama? You better believe it, dude. Yeah,
Exactly.
You better believe I do, coach.
Exactly. All right, 2 more teams. Let's go Clemson.
Okay.
How many
How
players?
many 5-star?
How many
drafted? 10.
7.
Okay.
Okay. 5-star recruits.
7.
Exactly. 7. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. 4-star recruits.
55.
Lower. 33.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
33 4-star?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So crazy, right? All right. Let's do the Utes. How many got drafted?
This year, I mean, their entire defense, 8. I think it was.
It was 7.
Okay.
So same as Clemson. Okay. How many 5-stars?
1.
0.
0.
Okay. How many 4-stars?
5.
8.
Dang. Okay.
So some coaching up in like you like to say, up in the mountains of Utah.
up in the mountains of Utah, in the middle of freaking nowhere. The Utes know how to develop, is what it sounds like. They are developing talent the right way.
Yes. So there's a few other teams on this list. Let's just go through it real quick. Georgia had 7 players drafted as well. They had 14 5-stars and 45 4-stars. Florida, 1 5-star and 38 4-stars. So interesting to see like just those numbers. And like I actually kind of did the same thing as you at the start, where I was thinking that 5-star numbers were going to be a lot higher.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wait, how do they only have this many? And you realize there's not that many 5-stars every single year handed out. So it's actually a lot more difficult to get that number than what you actually think. So if you get 2 to 3 5-stars per season, like you're pretty excited.
Yeah, you're definitely winning some bowl games, or at least going to some bowl games if you got that much talent on your team, or at least you better be. Because if you're just letting that waste, it's not going to be a good look, and you're probably not coaching for very long.
Exactly. Yep. So, all right, there's Tricivia for you.
Dang. So pretty much just goes to show the powerhouse that the SEC is. I think, Treese, you tweeted this, excuse me. Football in the South just reigns over everybody, right? Isn't that pretty much what you said?
Yeah, it's king. It's king. Like, it really is. They have had the most players drafted every year since 2007. Like, 2006 was the last year that another conference had more players drafted than them.
Do you know which conference it was?
I don't. I just saw SEC tweeted out all the way down to 2007, so I just know 2006 clearly they would have kept going. So I don't know who it was. If I had to guess though, I'd say the Big Ten.
Big Ten or Big 12 is kind
of. Or Big 12. But back in 2006, it could have been the Big 12.
Yeah.
Actually, it probably was the Big 12 because that's still when like the Missouris and the Colorados and stuff were still a part of it, right? So yeah, you're right. It probably is. So one of those two would be obviously is the safe bet there.
For sure. Let's go ahead and get into Rashad Higgins. Signs a 1-year deal with the Browns. Trees, thoughts on this?
They needed it badly because after their top two weapons, they literally, I feel like they don't have anybody. And this guy needs more looks in the offense. He just does. And it's a little surprising. I mean, because where is he going to fit in this offense? Like they have their two wide receivers. They have a they have their receiving back in Hunt, and now they have two tight ends in Njoku and Hooper. Like this dude might be lucky, honestly, to get like 25, 30 catches this year. But he's way more talented than that.
You say catches, like let alone targets. Like this offense is filled with talent. Just are they going to be able to make it work, or is it just going to be run, pass, run, pass? Or is it going to be super pass heavy and we're going to be sitting here going, hey, you got two stud running backs. When are you going to use them? Yeah. I think that's where it's going to come down to for the Browns with that much talent. And, dude, they just built their offensive line this offseason. So, especially at the tackle positions, if Baker Mayfield continues to develop and makes good decisions and doesn't escape a good pocket, the Browns are going to be lethal next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And they should be. They really should be. So, all right, let's move on. It's that time of year where fifth-year options need to be picked up or declined. I think they have another week or two to do that. So this is the time to do it. Some that got picked up. Marlon Humphreys got picked up for the Ravens. T.J. Watt got picked up for the Steelers. Derek Barnett from the Eagles. Jonathan Allen from Washington. And then two other ones that I just saw right before we got on were the two from the Giants, which were Peppers and now I'm forgetting the other one as we're talking. Their tight end, Ingram. So those two got picked up. And then the ones that have not gotten picked up, Tack McKinley didn't today, and man, it got ugly with him today. I don't know if you saw this at all, but he tweeted out, fifth year didn't get picked up today, did the praying hands like thank you. And then some fans started tweeting out, winner Dan Quinn and Thomas, the Mitchell option's not going to get picked up. And he started liking all of those tweets.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So some news is going to break. Like, I mean, that's a bad look. I mean, what's up with all these DNs like trying to get crazy on Twitter? So hasn't he learned from Clowney and Yannick that maybe this is not the right route to go, considering those guys actually produce and this guy doesn't?
Man, you would think, but who knows if he's even looking at him? Like, this is just one of those things where it's like at some point you just gotta learn to shut your mouth.
Yeah.
All right. Like, even if you don't get picked up, like, you are playing in the NFL. Mm-hmm. You now represent more than just yourself in everything. You literally represent your organization, the NFL. I know I've already said this episode, but man, I don't think I'll ever understand blowing things up on Twitter. Like, I get some things do need recognition, but this is just not a good look for you at all.
At all. It's really bad. So absolutely. Look, Another thing that happened, DJ Fluker got released from Seattle yesterday and then picked up by the Ravens. Of course. Of course the Ravens are just going to get another body in there. Is DJ Fluker what he used to be? Of course not, right? Like that's why Seattle released him. But also I have full confidence that the Ravens could just like turn him into an all-pro guard.
Just about how that'll go, probably.
Yeah.
Is especially I shouldn't say like the huge difference, but I guess there is a difference on the play style. But I mean, if you're put in a better situation and a better scheme, like, yeah, you were probably looking at that, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Some other news that happened. So, and this actually isn't on the rundown, but I'm going to bring it up because I saw it today. Some reporters were talking about how the NFL said the NFL schedule will be released by May 9th. That's
wow.
what they're saying. So a lot of people are speculating May 7th is the date. So that's like 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
2 weeks from Thursday when people are listening to this. We're obviously on Wednesday, but like, yeah, so basically 2 weeks from today, a lot of people are thinking that's when the schedule is going to come out.
That'll be next week.
May 7th?
May 7th is next week.
You're right. That is next week. You are right. I don't know what I'm thinking. I think there's 37. Apparently, I think there's 37 days in a month.
I started thinking, I was like, I moved the 1st. The 4th is Monday. 4 plus 3 is, hey, that's next week.
So next week. So that'll be cool. Like, that'll be awesome. Very exciting. And the rumor is like they have everything planned out for the season to start on the 10th. So September 10th, that is. So cool. So that'll be very exciting. We've been looking forward to that. Like, that's always a fun time to talk about those type of things. And then they also talked about like if the season had to get pushed to October, they have a game plan basically saying we won't do buys, and the Super Bowl will be pushed from February 7th to February 28th. If they have to start a month later than what they want. That's their plan.
So maybe you don't, not everyone gets their 2 buys because that's going to affect this season, correct? The 2 buys or is that next year?
That's next year.
I don't get why you couldn't have a buy. Like, just give everyone, like, people, like, the teams are going to need that. Like, that's there for a reason. Like, yeah, you had to push the season back. I don't think taking the buys away is a good idea. Maybe I guess you can't take a game away either because that's going to affect these guys' pay. But, like, the Pro Bowl as well, I don't get why taking that out affects anything. I think just kind of let things just play out the way, you know what I mean? Like, I understand needing to look that far in advance, but if things are starting to open up and clear next week, or at least they are here in Missouri, I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from. But like when you look at New York, Chicago, and these bigger, populated areas, things are still kind of bad. But like the Pro Bowl can stay, I think, and the Super Bowl, I get pushing that back. Maybe push that just a little bit further back. You know what I mean? Like let the season just kind of carry on, because remember when we first started the podcast, we were amazed at how the WNBA season ends, like the championship, like, hey, boom, here's our winner. The draft's like the next week. And we were just stunned by that. The NFL could be in a similar situation and go, do you know what? Maybe this isn't a bad idea, because it literally goes Super Bowl, then it's like free agency frenzy. Everything's still fresh off the wind. We're still celebrating it. Football is at its highest peak. Now everything's getting crazy. And then, boom, here's the combine and the draft. That's all taking place. And then we're rolling right into off-season workouts. So it's going to be a long year for these players. But, I mean, a lot of these front office guys also realized this summer and this offseason, like, maybe we don't need to be going as hard. Like, maybe this grind doesn't need to be this much of a grind when we can still get done what needs to be done and still spend time with our families. I think this might be the positive outcome of the coronavirus, is people realizing how valuable this time with family is, and not necessarily, I guess, being forced to be in quarantine lets you kind of open up and go, hey, I still have all this time and options. This isn't as important as what my family or what my personal life is, or even self-care. So to me, that might be the positive outtake on this. Back to my main point, though, this could also be very, very valuable for the NFL if that's how next offseason is to take place, with everything kind of being pushed back a little further.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. All right. I guess it's time to get to some fuck, marry, kill Carole Baskin time.
Ooh.
All right.
Carole Baskin can't convince me it didn't happen. Carole Baskin. How's that dance go? I think that's it. Carole Baskin.
Yep, something
Let's go ahead and get a cut up of that right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Ooh,
absolutely. Hey,
my mic.
there
Smack
goes your
the
mic.
tar out of my
There we
mic.
go. Nice going. Okay, we got a rookie over here. I remember my first beer. Okay, so
Here we go.
How about I'll let you start us off today with the
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys.
All right. So, how do we want to do this like we did last episode? We'll go through each team's draft and then rank our fuck, marry, kill.
Yep, exactly.
Beautiful. So Dallas Cowboys round 1, they take CeeDee Lamb. We talked about this last episode as well. Kind of a shock that the Cowboys were even interested in an offensive weapon after signing Amari Cooper to a huge 5-year, $100 million deal, which, Treese, I don't know if we've talked about this. After next year, he has absolutely no guaranteed money on that deal. Were you aware of that?
No.
Yeah, he signed a 5-year, $100 million deal, but after next season, he has no guaranteed money.
Wow.
Yeah, so pretty shitty on your agent to let you sign that. I guess smart by the Cowboys to kind of slide that part in there. But Cowboys go CeeDee Lamb. Second round, they go corner Trevon Diggs. Then they get Neville Gallimore. Then they go corner again, Reggie Robinson, someone who we got to watch at the Senior Bowl. Kind of caught my eye. I'm not sure if he did about you. Fifth round, they went and got Tyler Biadasz. And then again in the fifth round, they got an edge rusher, Bradley Ney out of Utah. Ute-up. Go Utes. I don't know what you say. Just whatever. But overall, a good draft by the Cowboys. I thought they did really well with what was given to them. You know, you get what, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 picks here in 5 rounds. You did pretty damn well with it. You filled needs. You got a huge offensive weapon for Dak Prescott. About time you pay the guy, because he's going to light it up even more with him with CeeDee Lamb on the roster. And then you got an edge guy who was projected as a round 2 type player, falls all the way to the 5th round, and you snag him right there to help out your defense even more, which is a defensive line that we've already projected to be one of the best next year in the NFL.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought this was a fantastic draft. I thought that they hit all their needs, and like getting that center out of Wisconsin at pick in the 5th round after your center just retired. And I know that they like their backup center. They feel comfortable with him, but like this is just insurance for that. So I love it. Yeah. Obviously, Bradley and I getting drafted in the 5th round, last pick of the 5th round, I thought was just an absolute steal. Neville Gallimore, like I wanted the Jags to take him in the 3rd round. So I thought that was a steal. So yeah, they did fantastic. All right, we'll move on to the Redskins. And I'm going to just already apologize. These guys have some extremely difficult names to pronounce. We were talking about it before the podcast. We were like, wow, yeah, these are a little bit more difficult. So obviously we know they took Chase Young at pick number 2. Fantastic. Most everybody's number 1 overall player. Then they took Antonio Gibson, the running back / wide receiver out of Memphis in round 3. They did not have a 2nd round pick. In the 4th round, they took Sadiq Charles, the offensive tackle. In 4th round, they took Antonio Gandy Golden, another wide receiver, getting weapons for Haskins. I think that's a great call. Keith Ismail, the offensive lineman. Kalaki Hudson, a linebacker. They obviously need more linebacker help. In the 7th round, they had multiple 7th round picks here. They had Cameron Curl, the safety, which need that backup behind Landon Collins there. And then James Smith Williams, defensive end. And honestly, I don't know much about him, but getting more depth there. Their defensive line is already, I think, one of the best now that you got Chase Young. But, you know, getting an athletic guy down there in the late rounds, it's never going to hurt you. So, overall, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was the best draft with the amount of picks that they had. I thought they could have done a little bit more. I thought they could have loaded up on more like pure wide receivers. I kind of feel like these wide receivers are not like the prototypical one, that they're more of that like Scary Terry that they already have. And he's fantastic, and he is an all around, but I mean like a big bodied guy. So how they didn't take a guy like Colin Johnson, for example, like I think he could have fit in this type of scheme. So they have good players. They got athletic guys. Like you could tell that they wanted to get more athletic as a team, and I think they did that. There were just other players that I liked more. I think the final thing is going to be here, Antonio Gibson. Do they use him in the correct way? Do they get him the ball in the open field and let him do his thing? Like, that's the biggest thing. He's going to be more of a pass catching running back, in my opinion, than a wide receiver. But I think you're going to have to put him in the slot sometimes and try to just get him open in, short field, and then just let him do his thing. So, good draft, not the best draft.
Yep. Let's go ahead and get into the Eagles then. Round 1, they go Jalen Reagor. Round 2, they go Jalen Hurts. Round 3, they go Davon Taylor. And then from there, it was just an abundance of picks. Round 4 through 7, they added depth in Kayvon Wallace. They added offensive line depth in Jack Driscoll, John Hightower at wide receiver, Sean Bradley at linebacker, Quez Watkins at wide receiver, Prince Tega Wanagaho, another offensive tackle. Man, you just got a hard name to pronounce the offensive tackle. The Eagles are probably taking him. Casey Toohill, another linebacker. Not a fan of this draft, really. I feel like Howie Rosen, excuse me, just throwing that out there since I completely messed it up last time. And you had the audacity to just let me keep talking. So I am going to blame you for that, for just letting me roll that right off my tongue. Watching me have that moment of pause in my eyes going, I think I messed that up, and then continuing to let me talk to where I eventually have to be called out by Mr. Kevin Williams on Twitter. Thanks for listening and catching it, not appreciating the roasting.
So do you want me to correct you again? What did you say his name was?
Howie Roseman.
Oh, I thought you said Rosie again. I think you might have
said that first. I did it first.
I think even when you corrected yourself, you may have done it again. I don't know.
Bitch.
I don't know. Okay.
I mean, it's Howie Roseman.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to make. We're good. But
now I still think I just said Rosie. I think I said. Did I say Rosie for his first name?
No, you said Howie. You're good.
Oh, I've confused myself. But this was a Rosie Howen type draft. You take a receiver out of TCU when you still had other receivers there. Then you take Jalen Hurts in the second round. And then from there, you go linebacker, offensive tackle, wide receiver, linebacker, wide receiver. Like, what? Like, is this just all depth level players? Are you looking for starters here? Jalen Hurts is clearly going to be a backup. Jalen Reagor, hey, you got speed because you went and picked up Goodwin as well in a trade with the 49ers. So that was good. It makes this a little bit more comfortable. And you got great speed on your offense, but as a draft-wise looking at this, not very good in my opinion.
Agreed. I absolutely agree there. Taking Reagor with Justin Jefferson on the table.
Yes.
Big time ouch. Jalen Hurts, that one's tough because I don't like him as a quarterback prospect, but like he's gonna learn, and like will he fit in that offense? I think he actually would if Wentz went down. Rumor is they're actually going to try to use him at running back at some point too.
But in my mind, that you already have a running back, you already have a quarterback that you need to protect. Like your defense, like your secondary needed help. There were plenty of corners here. You need linebacker help. Zach Bond was still on the board. That dude fell to the third round of the Saints, someone you're probably going to face here in a little bit. Like, there were so many more holes that you could have filled, and you went with a quarterback out of Oklahoma that you didn't need. I would rather them have taken Jake Fromm in the 4th or 5th than Jalen Hurts.
Agreed. And to think that this team could have got Christian Fulton and then had Darius Slay and Christian Fulton as your cornerbacks.
Boom.
Yeah, I love that. I will say the Kayvon Wallace pick. I love that pick. We watched him in the combine. We watched him at the Senior Bowl, and he was balling out. Like he caught my eye a lot. So I love that pick. But overall, you kind of hit it on the head where it's like, it felt like just a whole bunch of let's get depth. Like, let's get depth everywhere, but let's not worry about starters. You brought up Goodwin going to there from the trade with the Niners. That's awesome. You now have 3 of the same wide receivers. Jalen Reagor, Deshaun Jackson, Marquise Goodwin. They're all the same player.
Yeah.
So
Can they stay healthy? Like, is the speed and the size going to be okay?
Yep, amazing speed, smaller guys, all injury history. So let's see how that goes. And then you have this big-bodied wide receiver, Alshon Jeffrey, whose all body seems to also be breaking down. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you on those. So, all right. So we will move on to the Giants now. Pick 4, Andrew Thomas. A little bit of a surprise for me. I did not think Andrew Thomas, even though there were reports saying that a lot of people thought that like teams believed Andrew Thomas was a top tackle. I did not. So a little bit of surprise there. Xavier McKinney there in round 2. Matt Pert, offensive tackle there. What is it? Darnay Holmes, cornerback in round 4. Shane, I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Lemio?
Lemieux? I don't know.
I mean, it's got that
It's got that
IEUX, which is O.
Yeah, it is O. So
Lemo? Yeah.
We're close enough. Everybody knows who we're talking about if you know him. And then Cameron Brown, a linebacker in the 6th round. So these guys did not have very many picks. So they had 6 as well, kind of like the Cowboys up top. So I really like their first 3-round picks. Like overall, for like what they needed, right? Like they know they needed offensive line help. So they got two offensive linemen with their first 3 picks. And then Xavier McKinney, like he's there and he's going to be a stud, and he's going to be next to Jabril Peppers now, and like it'll be those 2 show. So I think that they're like, I like it, don't love it. I think Andrew Thomas can be like one of those, like he's a left tackle for your team for like 10 years and like nobody really recognizes it, that they just never really needed to draft a left tackle, but he's never in the conversation of like he's a top 3 left tackle in the NFL. You know, like he's just gonna be like a offseason comes, GM looks, where's the weakness on our team? It's just like, yeah, he's doing the job. He's solid. He does. Yep. He does what we need him to do.
Yep. I couldn't agree more with this. Kind of like similar to what you said to me with the Eagles. Like, hey, you hit the nail right on the head here with this, bub. Great. I don't love it, but I like it. You got it, like you said, a starting left tackle. You got a safety that can come down in the box and play, not afraid to tackle. You got another offensive tackle who may potentially start at the 3rd round. You know, that's kind of like a developmental type pick right there in the 3rd round. And then Darnay Holmes, you added corner, you add another guard, and then you add linebacker. For the Giants, this is a good draft to just build off of your team. You weren't in a position it seems like, to get any playmaking wide receivers. Slayton stepped up for you last year. You just re-signed Ingram. You took up that 5th-year option that we just went over earlier in the episode. And you got protection for your quarterback and running back. You were able to focus on your defense here in the middle, later rounds. This is a good draft for you guys. Your defensive line, it seems like you're okay with it. Your linebackers, it seems like you're okay with them. Your secondary, hey, we needed more safety help. We needed some depth at corner. We drafted there last year. Hey, just build off that. Just get these guys experience, get them reps, and let's roll. The Giants, they might not be, any big name type stars right here in this draft, but these are all guys that could potentially put, a stamp on this team and this franchise moving forward as a valuable play. You're not going to get stellar play, but you're going to get valuable play. And that's, Trees, kind of like what we were saying, as what you mentioned with Andrew Thomas. Like, hey, he's getting the job done. It's not a need. Let's just keep growing into next year. And that's where the Giants kind of did best when they were on their Super Bowl runs. I mean, it didn't seem like outside of Eli Manning there were any like fantastic, huge names on their offense or their defense. It was mainly their defensive line and their linebackers was what kind of stood out for them. But other than that, like, the Giants, man, they are just huge on building a foundation that is good and just growing from there to success.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's do our rankings here. So this ranking, again, is not how they did in the draft. This is if you had to rank their rosters currently. So that is their current, all their vets plus now this rookie class, 1 through 4. So basically 1 is who you think is going to win the division all the way down. So I'll let you kick it off. So
it's going to be pretty quick. Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Redskins.
Okay. So the only difference is I still have the Eagles number 1. So
really,
I am still going Eagles 1, Cowboys 2, 3 Giants, 4 Redskins. And like my biggest thing is I really like that they brought in another weapon. Obviously.
As in who? Okay, Cowboys?
Yeah, with CeeDee Lamb,
okay.
Yeah. But I also kind of believe that they couldn't beat the Eagles last year when the Eagles had nobody. Like everybody was
Yeah.
injured on their team. They couldn't beat them. Is CeeDee Lamb going to make up the difference? Because let's not forget, we talked about it a second ago. The Eagles picked up Darius Slay. And if you look at his history, like he's shut down guys like Amari Cooper in his entire career. So then it's all of a sudden it's like now is CeeDee Lamb going to carry this team like over? Like is he the biggest difference there? And I just don't know if he is. Because again, the Eagles are going to be healthy. I don't think they hit that. It's very rare that a team hits the injury bug like that 2 years in a row. So let's see what happens there. I think, and let's not forget how good some of the rookies were last year for the Eagles, and now they're year two, like Miles Sanders and those guys. So I still have Eagles slightly ahead of the Cowboys, not by much. It's a very tight race. If you saw my notepad, you would laugh because I have arrows swapping those two about 3 different times of like who's better, who has a better roster at this point. So it's very close. But I did end up going with the Eagles as the number one. But I think the Redskins are fourth strictly just because I just like everything has to go right for them. And again, like they picked up guys where they have to scheme them perfectly for this offense. Like I just don't feel like they have enough weapons yet. I don't think that Dwayne Haskins is like this amazing quarterback. He was my quarterback one last year. I'm not hiding that. Like he really was, and I still believe that he can do stuff. But like, there's not that many weapons on this team. Like, how many quarterbacks can really be successful with this? Let's also not forget they traded Trent Williams for a 3rd and 5th rounder or something like that. So, yikes.
So I'm actually going to be with the Giants. My reasoning was they're just young. They need time to grow together, build. What Gettleman's doing there is he's trying to build a solid foundation and growing from there. Who's going to, have sustained success on this team, and where do we need to build depth, and where do we need to get quality starters at? With the Redskins, to me, it was just a question mark at quarterback, kind of like you said with Haskins. Is he going to be this new head coaching? Is he going to be the front office, the coaching staff? Is he going to be their guy moving forward? Are they going to go, hey, let's just continue to build on this defense. Let's just suck. Maybe we get a quarterback and a quality tackle, because it looks like the tackle class for next year is stellar, and the wide receiver class might be even better. So you have multiple first-round picks next year again, don't they? Or am I wrong there? Not sure. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but the Redskins is who I'm talking about.
No, the Redskins only have one.
For next season?
Yeah, they only had one this year too.
Okay, my mistake. Don't know where I'm going with that. Okay. But here's my overall point with the Redskins. Is the quarterback your future guy? The receiving room, I think that they're okay with it. They don't have any big names, but they got size, they got reliable hands, and they got speed. The names I'm not going to roll off the top of my head, but I think they're okay in a position of we can build from this. Our defensive line is going to be great. Our linebackers, if all goes well, that can be okay. In our secondary, we've spent money there. From there, it's this offense. If it sucks, we'll get a quarterback next year, and we'll grow from there with a tackle and receivers in next year's class, maybe in the 2nd, 3rd rounds, or you trade someone to try and get another first rounder. But that's why I had the Redskins so low. It's just the question mark at quarterback with everything else on an offense.
Yeah, agreed. And I skipped over the Giants. So for me, just the Giants, the biggest thing on why they're 3 is I just don't know if they're going to be able to create pressure. Like, I still feel like they need help on that defensive line. Like, honestly, I'm surprised they weren't a team that was like given they got Xavier McKinney, so I don't blame them. But like, I'm surprised that they weren't a team that was maybe like, hey, Jacksonville, pick 36 for Yannick Ngakoue. Like, let us get this. Let us get a weapon here. So that's my biggest thing. I think that they just need more pass rush, basically. I think that their defense is almost at a good point at this point. I think that that's what they're missing there. And their offense, I think, now that they solidify the offensive line, if Daniel Jones becomes the guy, then great. You obviously have Saquon. I love their wide receivers. And Ingram's a beast tight end. So if Slayton can do what he did last year, coming out of nowhere, the rookie from Auburn, that'd be awesome. So, yeah, that'd be interesting. All right. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill for the draft. Carole Baskin. All right. You want me to go first?
You might as well. You let us into it.
All right. My marry, I don't think this is any surprise. I think it'll be both of ours, is the Cowboys.
Yep. We'll just agree there.
Yep, just long term, short term, everything about it. Like they had the best overall draft. My fuck is actually going to be the Giants. I think that very interesting first 3 round picks. The later ones I'm not in love with, and I mean that's why I'm not marrying you. Maybe I'm just interested for just a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I'm not interested for anything long term. Like I don't need this. So there's that. My kill is going to be the Redskins. The the only reason it's actually not Carole Baskin is because of Chase Young. It's literally my only reason. You didn't fuck that up. So congratulations. And then the Giants, the Eagles. Yeah, sorry, you're my Carole Baskin right now. And I like the Kayvon Wallace thing, but like that's if your 4th round pick is my favorite, like that might be a problem. Um, Passing on Justin Jefferson is just inexcusable to me. Like I tweeted out like when the Jags were up, I said Justin Jefferson no matter what because I wanted him so badly.
Hmm.
Given when if you would have told me, hey, Jags get they get their guy plus then they get Laviska Shenault, like then I'm like okay, all right, I'm good with this. So yeah, I think it's inexcusable to pass on a guy like Justin Jefferson, even a T Higgins. I mean, Jalen Rager, I think was my like wide receiver like 12 or 13. Like it was like it's bad. Like I just don't like that. When we talked about the Jalen Hurts thing, it might work out. Like it really might, but I, Christian Fulton, guys like that on the board, like it's hard to pass up.
Yep. So probably not the quality content you come here for, but before we even hopped on air, we were both confused and unsure of what direction we were going to go. I'm not even going to roll through mine because it was the exact same reasonings. My marry the Cowboys. I'm going to bang out the Giants. Let's see what we got. Let's have some fun. Redskins, you got Chase Young. Pow. That's it. And then the Eagles, you can't convince me that it didn't happen, that you just had a shitty fucking draft. So Carole Baskin, there it is. That's the Eagles. This is the NFC East. We're in agreement on everything except where we rank the Giants and the Redskins in the overall division. So pretty good episode here on a complete agreement at the end, where I honestly thought we were going to have a different takes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I love it. All right, well, next episode will be the NFC West, which is going to be a bit crazy, just because of how good of all those teams are. So I think that's gonna be crazy. Some of them had some very interesting drafts. But Niners, a lot of people didn't like their first rounders. I mean, we tried to tell you before. We tried to tell you 2 days before the draft that like what was gonna happen. I mean, not our fault you guys didn't listen to us. So this is fun. I love this. I don't care
Yeah.
that if anybody else is like, I just want my normal grades. Like, give me like an alphabetical grade. You can go to a different
Not here.
podcast. You can go to a
Yeah.
different podcast. So this is fun. So, all right. I mean, a little bit shorter of an episode today, but that's kind of how it's going to be when we're doing this with not a lot of other news for around the laces. When the schedule comes out, I think that'll change some stuff. But we're going to just get straight into. I know everybody wants to know about their team and how people think their team did during the draft. That's what we're going to give to you. So we appreciate you guys. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Both of our personal accounts and our overall podcast account. We would appreciate it. Rate us, subscribe, tell us what we're doing right, tell us what we're doing wrong. We would appreciate it. And tonight we've been talking football.
Boom.